Hey, what's up? This is Matt from GoTherics. In this video, I'm going to go over bridges. So a bridge or a glute bridge is one of the most useful exercises that we can use that can be scaled really easily, and it is an exercise that is going to help us to engage the core and the glutes together. What we're working on in this is a lockout position. So if I'm in a kneeling position here, we're working on the ability to be able to pull and hold the core tight and in while pushing the hips forward and getting this straight lockout position. When we do that, it often creates tension across the front of the body, either in the quads where you're going to feel it, or maybe deeper into the hips from the hip flexors that you're going to feel it. But you're going to see that it can be challenging to get to the top of that for a lot of people. What that means is that we need to work on that coordination between the abs and the glutes to be able to have them lock out the hips and be strong in that fashion. So here's how we're going to work that. The basic glute bridge. We're going to be here, feet around hip to shoulder width apart. I want to make sure that they're not in uneven pattern. I want them to be pretty even. I want to make sure that my heels are fairly close to my thighs, that they're not way out like this. So I want to bring them in a little bit. And then we are going to pull the abs in, flatten the back to the mat. And we're going to drive through the feet, the full foot, not just the heel, but the full foot, and definitely not the toe. Full foot, we're going to push through, pushing those abs high while holding that core in place that we started at the bottom. When we come down, we should hit the low back and the hips at the same time. That means that we held the core. If instead my hips hit and then my low back, that means I let go of my core. So the bridge exercise again, we roll those hips back, pulling in through the core, flattening the belly, driving the hips up, holding that position with each one. Now, I'm talking to you. What that means is I'm breathing. We got to make sure that we breathe through this. So I'm holding strong, but I'm getting little shallow breaths through my chest while doing this exercise. So this is a great exercise because we can add a lot to it to add greater engagement. So if I want to work on the glutes a little bit more and the hips in terms of external rotation and abduction, then I can put a band onto here that can go around my legs, get into position, and I can drive to the top. And then here, I'm going to push my hips even higher as I pull my knees apart, and then I bring them back together, come back down. Push to the top, push even further with my hips while I drive my knees apart, bring them back together, and then bring it down. So that's how we use an abduction band. We can also squeeze a ball. So I have a 4-pound medicine ball, put it between my knees. Again, those feet tight. Gonna flatten that back as normal, drive through the glutes, and while squeezing that ball in between. Down and up, down and up. So in this case, we get to work on the internal musculature of the hip, and we get to work with those adductors. We can also turn this into a single leg exercise. So again, I'm going to pick this leg up and I'm going to hold it. We're going to pull that back flat and we're going to drive up through the one hip and then back down again. Drive up through the one hip and then back down again. And we can switch it. Drive up through the one hip, back down. Drive up through the one hip and back down. The key is we want every rep to be where we're bringing straight line between the knee to the shoulders with each rep, while keeping the ribs down and not allowing that back to bend. Bridges are a great way to work with that synchronization of the hip strength with the core strength, and we love to use them, especially as a foundational exercise, to move up along the way. The next advance from this is to work on a hip thrust, where you have a greater range of motion and can do all these same things. Thanks.